Yeah, it should work. I'll just edit it when I get back.
Before we dive into a business card or anything like that, here, I'll trade with you.
Sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
What was it, Naquan or Naquan?
Naquan.
Cool.
Yeah, or just name, whatever's easier.
Name? Alright.
Yeah.
Just so you know, for later, this has got a bunch of screenshots, GIFs, trailers, all the good stuff, both for Turbo Overkill and all the other games we have here. So if you need anything, you can probably find it on there.
Nice. I return this back to you, of course, right?
No, it's yours.
Oh, alright, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no, keep it. Yeah, that's what it's for.
Nice. Alright, so this is A from One Up Infinite, and to my left, not to my right, but to my left, we got, introduce yourself?
Sam Prebble, lead developer for Turbo Overkill.
Alright, so earlier today, I have recently posted my review for Turbo Overkill, and it's like pretty fresh, so I'll definitely link it to you like after the little interview that we have, because playing through the game, well, the first 7 levels, that's what was given in the review build, I was actually like very impressed, because I feel like there was I opened the statement with Turbo Overkill is basically like a love letter to like multiple first-person shooters. It's not just, you know, Doom or Duke Nukem or whatever. It's like a bunch of them. It's like, you know, Ghost Runner. There's a lot of Ghost Runner vibes. There's a lot of, you know, cyberpunk vibes. There's many different types of first-person shooters that is both modern and classic combined into one piece. So, as the lead designer, like, what was your thought in making Turbo? Like, did you have all of these games in mind, or did you just want to make something that, you know, was a love letter to those games?
Yeah, so at first I started out trying to make something very grounded, very, you know, following in the lines of, you know, something like Quake with cyberpunk. But eventually I got to the point where I felt like I had to try and make the game stand out on its own as something different. That's why it's like, okay, yeah, so it started out looking extremely retro, but then I added in modern rendering techniques to try and make it look a bit different. Yeah, I mean, it's just mostly just a love letter to do. Like, I grew up playing that game, I've been playing it most of my life, and I come from a background of modding and making levels for Doom, so I kind of wanted to take that, everything I learned from that, and put it into its own.
How long have you been modding levels for?
The last 20 years, 25 years, quite a bit. I mean, I started quite young, but that was sort of my, I guess, like gateway into, you know, getting into game development through that game.
Another thing that I also noticed as well is like the tutorial tells you basically all you need to know to get through the game. Like, you know, you have the chainsaw leg, you slide, use a chainsaw, you shoot, you double jump, you have dashes and all that. But there's also like ingrained, like basically like ingrained first-person shooter mechanics that work for this game as well. Like, you know, of course, like bunny hopping. There's like my personal favorite that I wrote about in my little review was that my personal favorite gun was the double barrel shotgun, the sawn-off, because like weapon switching is like a huge thing in that game that I discovered. And like naturally, when you shoot like a double barrel shotgun, you have to reload the shells, but you could switch the gun with another gun and get some reload animations, and just like doing that and just like, you know, strafing and kiting, you can like get through most of the bosses that way. And it's actually really fun because with that plus like the mechanics with jumping and moving, it's like really fast paced, but it's like a lot of, like, I would say the skill ceiling is like, to get in the game, it's low, but the skill ceiling is like really high. So was all of that intentional?
I kind of just accidentally happened, I think. I know, like the whole quick switching thing, that was totally just a bug, and I was too scared to fix.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I was like, it's like, oh, okay, so quick switching, it's a thing in Doom Eternal.
Yeah, it's a thing in Doom. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. I was like, oh, you can do this in Eternal as well. So yeah, that's why I used that.
Completely accidental that those things lined up. But it got to a point where I was like, okay, if I patch this out, people aren't going to be happy about it. And I kind of told myself, it's like, if you're good enough to know how to do quick switching, then I think you deserve to be able to use it as a legitimate strategy to make a game.
Yeah.
There were a couple of nerfs I had to do, so like, alternate fires, you can just charge them up and release them, and then quick switch to the, cancel them.
Yeah, like I tried doing that with several guns, and like you still had to wait for the like thing to cool down, basically. Like that's what I noticed as well.
Yeah, I think that was the only nerf that I ended up wanting to do. I don't think nothing else was going to be done. Just because it was completely overpowered. But yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff just happened accidentally. And I see, it's crazy. We put a demo out about a month and a half ago, and just seeing some of the videos that people pass through it, like I can never play as well as those.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the game's just got beyond me and skill levels. Like it's people who do some real crazy stuff. And yeah, it's really humbling to see that as well. And just knowing that seeing people embrace it the way they have has just been really inspiring.
Yeah. I say this as someone that's not necessarily a fan of these types of games because like I always felt like they're fun, but the skill ceiling is like way too high or whatever. But there's also some games that I like one of my personal favorites. I mentioned Ghost Runner, but one of my personal favorite first-person games is Mirror's Edge, which basically takes the formula of like just getting from point A to point B and just using it as like flashy as possible and everything. So there was some levels, I don't want to like say too much because again, I don't know like if people going to be playing through it for the first time, but there was a particular part of the level where I honestly thought it wasn't going to end. Like it started out in a high rise and then it went underground, you had a little meat grinder things, you had to jump and everything, and then after that there was like a huge like, I call it crescendo, like a huge finale thing where you had to follow. I felt like I was playing 5 different levels at once. So what's the thought process when it goes to these level designs? Do you like intentionally just say, I'm gonna make this as crazy as possible, or do you have like a sort of like idea in mind when it comes to setting the flow of the level?
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about. There was sort of when I tackle a level, I just have an idea. It's like, okay, I want to do a level that is, a city's central plaza, or like a giant skyscraper straight from the to the bottom of the top.
Yeah.
I start out with those ideas, and then I go through the grey boxing phase, and sometimes it gets a little bit out of hand. Like I know the level you mean, it's like it feels like 2 levels at once.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just love making levels that can get quite ambitious, but they get pretty hard to execute sometimes. Like that tower level where the problem I had designing it was it's like, okay, yeah, you can go through each floor of the tower and like clear out each floor one by one, but it's just not fun kind of gameplay sort of sense. Like you kind of have to twist it up a bit, right?
Yeah.
I always get enjoyment out of designing the levels and just trying to like throw in ideas that you totally don't expect. And that was a good one because it's just like every time you go to a new floor, it's something that's
That's another thing I don't know if you can really share it, but like the last level was like a chance for you to actually get to play as Sam? The ship? Yeah, you got to actually like get in the vehicle and whatnot and shoot at the various enemies. Was that like an afterthought idea, or did you always have an idea in mind that you wanted to introduce vehicular combat?
Yeah, that goes back to making ambitious levels. I always wanted to have a rooftop level. And originally they wanted to have a car with it. It was basically you would finish off killing all the enemies on one tower, and then you go to the next tower. Once you get there, you have to like do a series of jump pads.
Yeah.
But eventually I got to the point where I was like, okay, this whole jumping section is just dragging the level out. I needed something a lot more snappier to get into the counter sports. And that was kind of where the car came in. I was like, okay, we'll put a vehicle into it, we'll play around between, towers. But other times, it's like, the level gets too ambitious, I gotta find a way to make it quicker, and I guess that was like the car. Which was a happy accident. It's like, there wasn't gonna be vehicles, but when I stuck the car in, it's just like, this feels pretty good. Now we need more car levels in the game.
So do you have any other ideas in mind that follows that same formula? Like maybe you're using a different car, maybe like a like a chase level where you're like on a motorcycle or whatever, and it's like a real shooter or something like that.
I don't want to spoil too much.
Oh, yeah, I'm just speculating. I'm just
I'm
throwing ideas.
Right. I have the motorcycle thing has come up quite a bit. Like I have friends who's like, oh, wouldn't it be cool to have like a motorcycle thing?
Yeah.
And so it come up multiple times, so I'm kind of like, oh, okay, you know, simply motorbikes, highways, like it's kind of a natural fit. I mean, we haven't got anything yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still prototyping a lot of that stuff for later episodes. But yeah, I mean, hopefully a motorbike sequence maybe, but I don't want to make any promises.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got other levels like the last level at episode 1. This is like basically just a big train, like a big train.
Yeah, that's. I don't even mean to cut you off, but yeah, that actually got me like kind of excited because I was like, oh, train, you know, there's like a preview video, and there's like, this is the end of the review build. I'm like, oh, I was like so sad, but like,
that comes out tomorrow.
Yeah, it comes out tomorrow. Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably my favorite one, just because it's again like flipping the idea on its head. It's like, okay, you want to train, but there are a lot of twists in the level that you don't expect, and it kind of throws it on its head. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite ones. Working on like the train, like every shooter has to have a train.
Yeah, that's what I was also going to mention as well. Like, it feels like every shooter has at least one train level.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's several content creators that I follow. Like, they make videos on, like, here are the top 10 videos that have like a train level in a shooting game. Like, that's like, you know, something you would expect. Which is also why, ironically enough, I like the first level in this game because it's more like. It feels very E1M1, you know, it feels very like the first Doom level. It feels like that, like it's quick and short, it gets you to point A to point B, you get the controls, and then the next level is like same thing, pretty easy. And then like by like the fourth level it's like, okay, like you understand what the game is like, here's like crazy stuff, like it's, craziness. So I wanted to say, like, I already said like what my favorite weapon was, but like what do you think your favorite weapon is so far?
Yeah, I definitely would say out of episode 1 weapons. Definitely just double barrel just because I use a grenade launcher. Just a nice way to say, okay, you got the TV head guys and the Tingo junkies running towards you, like, hey, I'll just pop some grenades in their heads and run in the opposite direction, they'll be fine. But out of all of the weapons though, like there's one coming up in episode 2, which probably my favorite right now. It's basically like a sniper rifle.
I was wondering where that was too. Like, like you got rocket launchers, you got miniguns, you got all these guns. I'm like, where's the sniper rifle?
Yeah, so it's more of like a precision, like a railgun basically.
Yeah.
If you get headshots, like directly in the middle of your screen, it'll just like eliminate anything. But the ability on that is if you zoom in and use the alt fire on it, you could hold it down and it'll tell you, okay, charge up and say, okay, charge is ready. And if you release it on an enemy, it'll basically teleport you from one side on the map, like straight into the enemy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a real good way to. There's some cool levels in episode 2 which utilize that ability. It's like, okay, you need to get through this. Chasm. So it's like, okay, you just like you basically teleport into enemies to get across this chasm. It's some cool scenarios.
Speaking of that as well, like reading up on the game itself, I was reading about how there's grappling hooks. Is that going to be a future implemented feature as well?
Yeah, that's we're putting the grappling hook in episode 2. Basically, most of the movement mechanics I want to have. Yeah, we're aiming to have most of the movement mechanics available basically halfway through episode 2, which is halfway through the game. And from there on, we basically say, okay, you have all the tools you need. Take these tools, learn how to use it, and get yourself some, produce the game. But episode 1 does introduce quite a lot of, the core mechanics, your wall running, micro missiles, the augmentation system. I don't think that was any part of the augmentation system, so there's still a lot of other stuff that is coming in episode 2, which we
Is the rocket launcher going to have an old fire, or is that one?
The only reason it doesn't right now is because all the old fires that update for it, I just haven't been 100% satisfied with.
What was like the intended alt fire for the rocket launcher? Because I feel like all the weapons had one, but that one didn't. So
originally the rocket launcher meant like an upgrade for it where you hold down the fire.
It shoots multiple rockets.
So that originally wasn't there. So I took it out and just didn't feel that satisfying. I mean, we might put it in. I might put it in if I find a way to make it better. But right now, it's just like remote detonation. But there will be an upgrade for it soon. now in the current build, it was in line with what we want to.
Yeah, it's also funny you mentioned Unreal Tournament as well because, like, with the pump action shotgun, the hold fire for that is like you charge it, it shoots like an electric stun thing, and then like if you switch to another weapon, you can just like shoot at the enemy while they're like stunned. Otherwise, like they're basically if you don't know how to if you don't like think to switch to another weapon, you're basically just stuck there with a shotgun while it's in cooldown. So I was mentioning that like certain guns have certain combinations like that, like you stun with one weapon, you switch to another weapon, you do that. So are there any other combinations that you have planned or you have thought of in the past that works like synergy with each other?
Still working on getting a lot of it. Like you mentioned the shotgun with the electric shot.
Yeah.
And there's also the flamethrower, which does like burn damage over time.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guns coming that we haven't announced fully yet, which will do will have more synergy like those weapons. Also, I mean, currently it's it's mostly those flamethrower or flame damage and electric shot formations, electric damage. But we are doing so with the weapon upgrade system right now, we're only upgrades to wonderful fire, but later on and later episodes, eventually there will be an additional upgrade which will add more change up the way you can use your same class to have more of it.
And also another thing that I've discovered as well was there's no mod support quite yet, but there is thought of it in the future. So like with Steam Workshop being a thing and everything, like what is your like implementation for like the future, like as far as like the community and everything?
For me personally,
especially you being like a mapper, so like
it felt like only blasphemy for me to put out a game. Coming from a modding background, and having modding support and the game that I'm working on, it just didn't feel right. So we currently are working. It's still in development, it's still really early days on it, but definitely custom map support. It won't all be inside of the game itself. You won't get there'll be modes similar to Halo Forge where you can take like a big empty room and you can place down like blocks and boxes. You can even take in existing levels from the game and you just like drop in your own custom enemy placements. But the ability to import custom geometry into the game from an external editor like Transfer or Vector even, that's sort of where most of the hardcore custom maps are going to come from. But that's still really early in development. It is something that I was contemplating early on. So I don't have a set date for it yet, but definitely hope very, very soon. But it's important for me. Like I definitely want to get custom maps now. And I have tried editors in the past to try to figure out what's the best way of implementing this. And I think I found a way, but they all found a way which I think will work quite well. A nice balance between having a lot of flexibility, but also keeping it quite easy to get your hands on. A couple of minutes, a bunch of good points using it.
So I think I've been on a tangent for like a few minutes now, but do you have any closing thoughts to say about the game, your progress, like how you feel the game is right now? Any excitement for the future? Because I know there's like at least 2 more episodes and everything. So like any closing thoughts you have about the game itself?
Just have a go, have fun, leave a review, and just excited to finally get the game out. I've been working in so long in isolation, and coming to events like PAX is so fun to see people sit down and play the game, and people who have played a lot of first-person shooters, like you can kind of tell, like just by their play style, they just pick it up and get a hang of it really easily. That's plus.
Thank you so much once again. Interviewing about Prebble Overkill. It's been May and all right, later.